Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to today's stream, where at least the first half an hour or so is going to be talking about specifically the Obi-Wan Kenobi last two episodes. I've I had a big discussion about the first two. 3 and 4 I really just didn't talk about because I didn't really see a big importance of talking about those two episodes because they were kind of like, you know. Anyway, I thought I'd talk about the last two. At least more talking about episode 5. I'm not going to talk about episode 6 too much because of spoilers. There might be people who still haven't seen it. And I like to keep the sanctity of, that sort of thing. So by the way, that was What a Dream I Had by Cool Ghouls, which is a fantastic band name. Yes, I'm a cool ghoul. So let's get into talking about Star Wars, shall we? As you can see, I have the greatest character ever invented, Jar Jar Binks' father. I forget his name. George Binks, I think? George R. Binks, who hated Jar Jar Binks so much, he tried to kill himself and didn't succeed. But still, that's been hilarious. It's also a picture of me watching at least episodes 1 to 4. Okay, so let's start. It kind of starts with like this battle between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. So Ewan McGregor and we get to see Hayden Christensen. I guess we got to see kind of Hayden Christensen every so often, but this is like the big return of Hayden Christensen. They did some de-aging on the characters to make them, because this is probably taking place like probably episode 2, episode 3, that sort of area, before Anakin has gone full dark side and become Darth Vader. So they de-aged them, and they did not de-age Hayden, they didn't de-age Hayden Christensen enough. You could see like his kind of wrinkles peeking through, and it was a little bit distracting. At the same time though, doesn't really matter. It's just a little weird thing I noticed that I thought I'd kind of point out, that they tried. And I don't know how they got, Ewan McGregor looking like he did back in episode 2 and 3, but they couldn't get Hayden Christensen just that right way. Dunno. So next is again, this is more just a kind of discussion about kind of the weird plot points that happen. Maybe giving some praise or giving some negative points about some things. So when they escaped, I have a question. How did the Inquisitor possibly know that Lil Leia would be saved by Obi-Wan Kenobi successfully? Like, we're talking about, they stormed a secret high security location that not only I think Darth Vader was there. It's been a while since I saw episode 5 and 6, so my memory may be a little bit muddy, but Darth Vader was there. Heaps of elite stormtroopers are there. The Inquisition are there. And she's just like, yeah, we're so defended. Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to come in and successfully rescue her. So what? I don't know, maybe you could reorganize it in your brain to be like, this was her leading up to this point at the end of episode 5, which I'll get to. But anyway, the point has been brought up that, and I really don't like this, that's why in episode 4, Leia said, it's obviously a trap. They just let us go. And the point is made that that's how Leia knew that, because it had happened before. Why not just keep Leia how she is? You know, this sort of intelligent, smart person who is kind of savvy onto this sort of shit. Anyway, episode 5, I've recently found out episode 5 was written by the person who wrote WALL-E. Whereas episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 were written by Zack Snyder's writer, which is why it's kind of like not great. Have you seen his most recent movies? Like, is it Land of the Dead? I think it's not fucking good. The writing is subpar. So that kind of makes sense why it's so weird. It's like very hit or miss. Whereas episode 5, I'm going to go on record and say it now. Episode 5 was really good. It was the best episode so far out of the entire 6. It was the best. It was the peak of it all. So there was good acting in episode 5. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it's like, bam, all the acting problems gone. So I think I may have called it in my episode 1 and 2 discussion that Reva was going to be one of the younglings in the beginning. Unfortunately, that was the case. But I mean, I guess thinking back on it, it did add depth to that character, which is nice. At the same time, kinda, I don't know. I'm kind of like iffy about that point. I can see the good points to it, but I can also see that there's quite a few bad points. Bad points being like, you know, why would you side with the bad guys who killed your friends and everything, destroyed everything you knew? Why would you side with them for the long con of killing Darth Vader, which is kind of like her whole motivation? And in the meantime, you've killed a whole bunch of other Jedi. Like, does that make up for it? Does that make up for it at all? In my opinion, not really. You're probably just as bad. I mean, you haven't killed children, I guess, if we want to go down to Order 66 route. But, you know, still. And if she has so much hate in her body, why isn't she full Sith? Like, why isn't she full dark side? She obviously has a lot of hate for Darth Vader. That, yeah. There's just a lot of plot holes. I guess you can't really call them plot holes. I guess you can call them more, there's a lot of things that aren't specifically said in episode 4, 5, and 6. So they've gone, well, they never specifically said it, so therefore we can do that. For example, Leia seems to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi like she's never met the guy. You know, it's one of her father's friends. That's sort of the implication behind her words in episode 4, where she's like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. You served with my father in the Clone Wars, blah, blah, blah. It's like she's never met him. But then we get this whole thing where, you know, they go, well, she never said specifically that she's never met. She never went in the hologram message like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I know we've never met. So they go, well, okay, we can play with that. Which is kind of, I don't know. And the same kind of goes with Luke at the end of episode 6, meeting Ben Kenobi. He never specifically says he's never met Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he does say, it's kind of implied that he just knows about him. He's never met him. He's like crazy Ben Kenobi who lives out in the desert. Like, if you met this guy and you're like, oh, he's obviously a friend of my uncle, why would you say crazy old Ben Kenobi. Like, and also Luke must then know that, it just kind of, it makes these things that then just kind of retroactively puts plot holes in episodes 4, 5, and 6. So for episode 4, 5, and 6 to stay like constructed together, you have to pretend that Obi-Wan Kenobi doesn't exist as a TV show. If you take everything to exist, then all of a sudden you're going to have a lot of plot holes. For example, like, they try to explain away that this is episode 6 discussion now. God, I'm just going off on fucking tangents left, right, and center. Episode 6, Reva is chasing after Luke. And Owen and Beru say to Luke, like, run. Oh, it's the sand people. They're storming us again. They're going and storming all these villages. And so they get him to hide. But then he obviously sees that this would be not a sand person, and it wouldn't be a sand person weapon, because it would be like, a person all dressed in black with, not sand person clothing on, and wouldn't be using, I think it's a buffer stick or something like that, using this red glowy object. Like, are you telling me that 8 years old Luke Skywalker just completely forgot this fucking traumatic event? Anyway, that's that tangent. So it was kind of weird. There was this is going back to like episode 3, I think. The Room of Trophies. Like, isn't Darth Vader meant to be redeemable? Why would he have this? Like, the reason is so if Obi-Wan Kenobi does well, they've got, hey, look at all these characters that we can like bring back, because they might not actually be dead. And if they do, like, if this show fucking tanks, they can go, no, they're all dead. It's his hall of trophies, which, yeah, kind of like, how can you redeem some dude who's like, yes, I like to keep the trophies of all the people I've fucking murdered. I'm pretty sure it's meant to be Darth Vader's little thing, because there's that youngling with the weird hat. And I think that's the youngling who's like, Master Skywalker, they're coming for us. What do we do? That was pretty funny, though, to be honest. I cracked up. It wasn't meant to be funny, but I cracked up at that point. So there was some shaky camera, which kind of started to make me feel a bit sick at one point. Like, it wasn't bad, because this was genuine shaky camera. This wasn't After Effects shaky camera. But yeah, it just kind of shook for a little bit too long. So in Diravama, I forget who she plays. Let me have a look. Indira Varma plays Tyler Dorath. So she is hands down, by a long shot, the best actor, or at least putting in the best performance in this show. Hands fucking down. Ewan McGregor is a fantastic actor. He's really great, but see, the problem is he's playing a role of a character from 3 movies, episode 1, 2, and 3, that is kind of based in this Jedi have no emotions. They're basically all Spock from Star Trek. And so how do you play a character like that and then all of a sudden emote better? The answer is, well, you don't. And I think I had this discussion where why don't the Jedi kind of like use the positive emotions like love and happiness and stuff like that? Well, apparently they are meant to, but they also suppress it and have no emotions. Why couldn't you just have like Jedi, aka always, happy and joyful and stuff like that. Dark side, always angry and bitter and spiteful. Instead, we get more emotion from the dark side. Sure, they're negative emotions like hatred and anger and fear and stuff like that. And then no fucking emotion at all from the good side, the light side, if you will. Master Padme. Master Padme. I see that you have become the master and I am but the apprentice. I mean, the acting could be on purpose to be like that. I don't know. So then there's this point where Leia's hacked robot, I forget how it gets hacked again. No idea. Her hacked robot pulls out some wiring so they can't open the doors and escape. Hang on. Right. And Leia somehow knows how to fix the wiring. I guess it's kind of like just plug A into plug B. But when I wrote this at the time, because I wrote this while I was watching it, while I wrote this at the time, I thought that the little robot, ladybug robot had just snipped some wires. And I thought Leia was going to somehow know how to like bypass that and that sort of thing, like actual sort of sci-fi stuff. But no, it was literally just plugging a headphone jack into a port, which I guess that makes it simple for Leia how to know how to do that, because they were literally just like, plug the red one into the red one. I thought it was very weird how Vader is apparently so powerful he can literally stop ships from flying off and then tear them apart. And also he can like use his force powers to literally stop people attacking with lightsabers, but also stop lightsabers. Which is kind of like, he has just god powers at this point. Like, it felt a little bit, that game that kids play where it's like, oh, well, I shoot you with a gun. Oh, well, I'm wearing bulletproof armor. Oh, well, my bullets are bulletproof. Armor piercing. Oh, well, my skin is like made of armor piercing proof flesh. It kind of feels like that sort of advancement up. Like, and I understand, and I know that he can't and won't die in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show. He's got 3 more movies to be in. They can't kill him off. But it's like, make it a competition in some way. Like, don't make him just be like, why would you even try? Like, and then, bam, you're dead. Like, I understand Vader has to be a little bit of a badass, but it's kind of also a little bit stupid at the same time, if that makes sense. Also, shout out to Moses Ingram. Reva, in episode 5, her acting was fan-fucking-tastic. She showed proper emotion. You believed her reasoning behind wanting to attack Darth Vader, which is her whole plot point. Her whole plot point is that she was one of the younglings and she pretended to be dead so Darth Vader wouldn't kill her. And that traumatized her because she was surrounded by the bodies of her friends and mentors and stuff like that. So she joined the Inquisition, the Inquisitors, as the third sister. Hello. Third sister. He joined as the third sister so she could get her plot and get her payback on Darth Vader, essentially. And in that moment where you can see that there's still good in her, she plays a better good character than an evil character. When she's playing evil, it's like, I will kill you all, and I will burn this place to the ground, and no biscuits for anyone. Like, it's so over the top villain. But when she was, you know, showing that, you know, she was a good person, there was depth to that. There was a lot of depth to that acting. And I wrote that Moses Ingram plays a better good guy than a bad guy, and to take that how you will, you know, like it's good, it's positive, you know. So my next point, going off the fact that she fucking loses to Darth Vader, which, you know, we knew was going to happen. Why didn't Obi-Wan stop her from wanting to get vengeance? That seems more like a Jedi thing to do. Because wouldn't getting vengeance on Darth Vader just make her slip further into the dark side? Like, isn't that the whole point of, you know, like, embrace your hate? You know, the Emperor in fucking episode 6 literally says to Luke Skywalker, you know, strike me down and become more powerful than you could ever imagine. Because that's Luke giving into his hate, right? Isn't that the same thing? Reva would be giving into her hate if she beat Darth Vader and killed him. So then she would just be on the dark side. That doesn't sound very Jedi to me. But also, if the whole point is that he's using her for his getaway plan so they could escape, that is also a fucking massive dick move. It's an immense dick move. Because he would know that she would stand no chance against Darth Vader. So he's like using her and 100% guaranteeing that she's going to die. Obi-Wan was not the good guy in this situation. Anyway, I have a few other points. First of all, I don't know why I wrote this. I think this was kind of like a joke. There's a Red Letter Media review of episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4, I want to say. It might just be episodes 1, 2, and 3. Jared Fogle, A Star Wars Story. I don't remember why I wrote this. I honestly have no idea. But anyway, I also wrote, your mum lets you have 2 Death Fortresses? And how? Because Darth Vader apparently has his water fortress and also he has his lava fortress. So, you know, just in case he wants to go on a summer vacation, he can go to the lava fortress, and if he feels like going to the beach, he can go to the water fortress, I guess. I don't fucking know. I don't know why he needs 2 fortresses. Why put yourself like next to the thing that basically burned 99% of your body? I want to be surrounded by lava to remind me that I should shit myself on a daily occasion because I am constantly in a state of anxiety. Also, there's some videos of like Ian McDiarmid at conventions and stuff, and they ask him to do like a line from the Emperor, and I'm just like, Ian McDiarmid, he just looks so fucking tired. He's what, like 70 something now? 77 years old. He just looks so fucking tired. Let the man sleep. Let the man not play the Emperor ever again. Just let him fucking live the rest of his life in peace. Hopefully, much longer life, but still. So now we're getting into like, there's only 2 things I want to touch on episode 6. Because again, I don't want to spoil any of it. So we've got Darth Vader Obi-Wan Kenobi just absolutely fucks Darth Vader up, which is kind of weird. And this is another point, right? This is another point tacking on from earlier where they never explicitly said that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader didn't fight between episodes 3 and 4 when Darth Vader eventually kills Obi-Wan Kenobi. You said all that was said was, there's a presence I haven't felt since. And then Darth Vader saying, last time we met, I was the apprentice, but now I am the master. Something along those lines. I don't have the exact quotes because it's been a long time since I've actually watched those movies. But anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi beats down Darth Vader, and it's kind of a ridiculous fight scene. Honestly, episode 6 is kind of like another dip. It's better than episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4, but it's way worse than episode 5. It's like something out of Dragon Ball Z. You know, like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi gets buried under rubble and then he fucking powers up his power level and then he can burst out of the fucking rubble and then throw rocks at Darth Vader. Oh, it's kind of... It's cringe, dude! It's cringe! There is stuff about Star Wars I enjoy. There is. I'm also a bit of a realist about some things. Like Disney kind of is just farming this. That's the whole thing. It's just to make money. Maybe I'm a cynic. But look, as I said, episode 5 was fucking fantastic. I loved episode 5. It was really, really good. And I think episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 were just kind of bad because there wasn't a good writer attached to it. I think the rest of the cast probably did the best they could with the material, but yeah, it's just kind of over the top. But yeah, Obi-Wan eventually strikes down Darth Vader. And why Obi-Wan just didn't kill him at this point? He basically led to millions more people suffering, including, what was it? Alderaan getting completely destroyed as a planet. Wild. Obi-Wan Kenobi could have ended it. But Anakin says in some weird way, like, don't blame yourself. You didn't kill Anakin. I did. And I feel like they saw that line from episode 4 where Obi-Wan Kenobi said, but your father was killed by one of my other apprentices called Darth Vader. Like, you know. So then Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't lying all along. He was telling the truth because that's what Anakin said. And like, you could have just left that line out. But I guess it's kind of good in a way. It was meant to give Obi-Wan Kenobi closure. To be like, oh, it wasn't my fault all along. And there was one point where literally Obi-Wan Kenobi goes back to Alderaan to see Leia after he's rescued her. And first of all, they dressed Leia up to look like older Leia, and I fucking laughed so hard about that. It was so funny. But literally Leia says, thank you, and then runs off. That's her whole screen time with Obi-Wan Kenobi in that final thing. There's not like any sort of like, thank you for saving me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm very grateful, and like a curtsy or anything like that. It's literally like just thank you and then runs. It's so good. So anyway, now I get to my overall thoughts of the series as a whole. So my thoughts are, there's 4 bad episodes, there's 1 amazing episode, which is episode 5, and there's 1 okay episode, which is episode 6. And Red Letter Media said basically it was super okay. It's not amazing. It's not okay, average. It's super okay, which I actually find myself agreeing with. It's super okay, and I'm super okay with it. As a whole, I don't hate it. Episode 1 and 2 were so bad, I thought I was going to hate it, honestly, but I like it. I think it's got some good bits, it's got some bad bits, but overall, I think it's worthy, you know, of being a thing, if that makes sense. So how's that for anything about Star Wars that I enjoy? I do enjoy things, occasionally. I do want to go back and watch episodes 1, 2, 3. I've recently watched episode 4, which I rather enjoyed, but I could see kind of some of the cracks of age. I want to see if episode 5 is as good as I remember, and episode 6. I just want to, you know... Yeah, exactly. This is my point. Like, this is the problem with Star Wars, where they have an infinite universe. They could craft literally any story, and The Mandalorian showed that. You know, it wasn't until Mandalorian season 2 when we saw Luke Skywalker and we clapped collectively. We went, "Oh, I recognize Luke Skywalker," and I clapped. It wasn't until then that they kind of tied it into the series. It was its own standalone story, and they can keep doing that. But the problem is, I think they're terrified that if they do that, people aren't going to be able to recognize it, and they're not going to watch, and they're not going to make money. I also learned as well that apparently Jon Favreau wasn't attached to the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which might explain some things as well. Like, he kind of stood back from this. Yeah, the fights between Vader and Ben were good. It was pretty hilarious when Darth Vader just starts smearing Ben Kenobi in fire, because it's just so fucking weird and evil. Yeah, and that's kind of the problem. Nostalgia is a curse. And one last thing I'll touch on is if you look at reviews of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the ones that are overall positive, giving it 4.5, 5 stars, they're talking about how great it was seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi again and talking about the characters. They're not stepping back and seeing it as a piece of media. They're so just sucked into the world that they're missing the forest for the trees, you know? And a lot of the sort of like more critical reviews, you could say, the 3 stars and 2.5 stars and 2-star sort of things, are more pointing out the problems with the script and acting and performances and stuff like that. I think 100%, well, it's already been renewed for a season 2, right? I don't know how there's going to be a season 2. I think it should have just been a standalone 1 6-episode thing, but anyway. So that was the Obi-Wan Kenobi discussion. That was a good, how long did that go for? Like 30, 40 minutes? Okay, let's actually get into Elden Ring now. And let me bring this back to my starting soon splash screen. Where's my rotating cow? There it is.